So I think the fact that I could research this entire video on my phone says something.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As a benevolent democratic dictator, I will be talking about the fashion and online shopping experience in Korea, and specifically why you see so many similar clothes and designs. As I was making this video, actually all of the research that was needed was actually such an embedded part of my everyday life and my daily phone habits anyways that it really didn't take a long time to figure out what I wanted to say on this topic. Now, I think Korea has actually been one of the hardest places for me to shop, and that's because of the excess of availability and options in terms of which sellers and which merchandisers I can purchase from. Now, look at these shoes, for example. I've been wanting these shoes for a while, these beige ones right here. The problem is that I see this price, and I know that this is not the same price across the board. Now, let's look here at this seller, which is selling it for a little bit more, but they have free shipping. And there are dozens of options online and probably offline too for me to buy these shoes. The only difference other than the price is how they market the products. This picture styles it a little bit more different from this picture, and also the body shape and the emphasis of the piece is a little bit different. Same with this blouse, which I was able to find in another store for a lower price, and obviously that's the one I'm gonna go for. But this is the original merchandiser that made me want to buy these shoes. The way that she styled it is closer to my personal style, and I can see how the shoes actually look with an outfit. Same with this top. Now, this is a brand that I know well, and they're really good at disguising the fact that they sell wholesale products because of their unique styling. And even their prices are better than the other places. The way that they styled the same top on this model is that they shifted the v-neck hem slightly so that it looks more like an effortless flowing handkerchief style, and it covers an asymmetrical portion of your abdomen. So even though it's the same product as the other picture, it actually looks different. But why is that the case? Now, although I'll be mainly talking about online shopping in this video, the inspiration from it actually comes from the streets, where you see a lot of women and girls wearing very similar outfits, very similar pieces. Now, if you've never been to Korea, these are some of the hottest, most popular shopping streets and areas in Seoul, and a lot of these clothes are really affordable and generally about low to mid-tier quality. Now, a lot of these shopping places are found either on the streets or underground, and they're called 지하상가, which basically means an underground shopping mall, and they're very popular in Korea, and a lot of subway stations sell clothes like this. But these places aren't actually the only places you can find those exact same styles and designs. In fact, many of them will be found online, either through their official shopping websites or through shopping apps. And there are three major shopping apps that carry these kind of clothing. The most popular is probably Zigzag, the most advertised is Ably, and the one that's kind of lesser known but still actually offers a lot of good deals is called Brandy. And I have used every single one of these shopping apps, and they all offer slightly different kinds of discounts, different kinds of coupons and point systems for you to save a lot of money at these very local brands and small businesses. But the funny part is that when we talk about a small business in like the fashion retail sense in Korea, there's actually quite a few of them, and a lot of the merchandisers, a lot of the little boutiques and shops you see both on the streets and on these shopping apps can actually be considered very small business and small brands. Most of them will have like an Instagram profile where you can see all of their clothes, and these are the kind of ads that I get targeted by constantly. But they don't really look like ads because the style of Korean shopping websites and Instagram profiles tend to be much more casual and a bit more like a lifestyle. To give you an example, this is a brand that I was targeted by on Instagram, and then you go to the website, and a lot of these websites look pretty much like this. Now, this one in particular has more unique pieces, I think, and you know which ones they are because they're more pricey. The more expensive it is, the more likely it is that they're actually independent designers. But the interesting thing is you can tell which of the clothes are designed in-house and which are provided by wholesalers. On Instagram, I actually get targeted by wholesale ads as well. But when I click on those wholesale profiles, they actually look really similar to just like an average customer store, and they market themselves in a very very similar way as well. All their profile will look kind of very casual every day. They take like selfies, mirror selfies. A lot of their photos are just taken on like an iPhone. Some of these are like very popular places. Like I know this cafe. I've been here. So it's kind of like surreal. It makes you feel like, oh, this model and these people went to this same place that I did. But if you spend as much time as I do on all of these different shopping sites and apps, you'll find that the exact same clothes, I'm not just saying like a very similar design, but I mean like the exact same clothes will be sold by multiple brands and multiple merchandisers because they come from the same wholesalers. And it's not to say that there aren't a lot of really creative, original designers in Korea. There are. And there's a ton of these tiny little Instagram boutiques with like less than 10,000 followers if you're into more like independent designers. If you look for them, they are there. But on these shopping apps and a lot of the clothes you see on the streets will actually come from the same wholesalers, which is why you see the exact same clothes both on the street and in these shopping apps and also on Instagram. The cardigan that I wore, that's like a Chanel knockoff. I'm pretty sure everyone knows this by now, but I'm just gonna say it just so I don't get like freezied off the internet. That was like, with all the coupons combined, 13,000원, which is like 13,000 won, which is equivalent to like $12 in US dollars. That cardigan was really popular. And actually, if you know the right keywords to search, it's really easy to even find designer knockoffs. If you're looking for like Chanel, you'll just look up like Sha. Or there's like Dior knockoffs, Gucci knockoffs. And yes, even though it seems like the whole Frisia controversy is around like the atrocity of knockoff designers, they're actually quite common in Korea. I don't think that people are rapping her because she wore a knockoff. Like, I don't think a lot of average everyday Koreans are that petty. And the street interview video that I watched kind of actually confirms that. But I'm getting off topic. Back to the subject. So the Chanel cardigan, all I had to look up was 배색, which means like color block cardigan. And this color block style of cardigan with the kind of square pockets, this and the tweed jacket and tweed set look, the kind of classic like spring Chanel look that they're bringing back, has been everywhere, both on the streets and on Instagram. Once something is popular and trending in Korea, they're very, very accessible. Now, the flip side of that, of course, is that if it's not trending in Korea, it's almost impossible to find. And this is where I want to bring in Naver, the most popular search engine in Korea. On Naver, you can also look up similar keywords. Again, I'll look up the cardigan and you can click on the shopping section and you'll find maybe not the exact same items you're looking for, kind of similar designs that you saw on the app. And that's because a lot of the retailers that are on these apps also have websites through Naver. And now Naver is kind of interesting. They're almost like a combination of Google and Kakao. Like Google, it's a search engine, but it's very internalized. It focuses heavily on Korean internal news and media, advertisements. It's really only helpful if you're looking for something that's specifically in Korea, a lot of which is actually hard to find on Google. So let's say if you're looking for a Korean product or a Korean website, it's much better to go on Naver than on Google. But like Kakao, Naver offers a lot of other services. Like there's Naver Maps, Naver Blogs, and that's basically where people make very, very casual blogs, but it's like connected to all your Naver like accounts and your Naver email. And this is where also people will write a lot of restaurant reviews, and those can get linked directly to the Naver location. Like for example, if I look up a restaurant on Naver, I can see the reviews that people posted through their blogs. I can see the photos, I can see exactly what they wrote. And so through Naver Shopping, merchandisers will make a website. You know it's a Naver website because it links you to your Naver app. You can even pay through Naver Pay, which is similar to Kakao Pay, which is kind of like a Venmo. Again, like it's all very corporate. It's all connected. It's like Big Brother again. Ooh. And when you click on the product, you can see the kind of coupons. And let me tell you, Korea is obsessed with their coupons. Like if you didn't buy something with a coupon, like if you didn't get a discount, you lost a deal. Like you lost out. I would say the biggest reason for me to shop online is because of the price difference. If you shop through those apps, you get points. And so through the reward system, you can save a lot of money. Now, Korean shopping sites are very interesting, and I'll show you why. The first thing you'll see are pictures. You'll also see how long it takes to ship and the shipping price. And now the unique thing about Korea is that you have to scroll down a heck ton. I mean, like you scroll. Depending on how many gazillion pictures they decided to take and how many different color options there are, your fingers are gonna get a workout. You'll see the item description. You'll also see generally model size stats. They'll tell you like how tall the model is and their sizes in Korean, even like their weight and their measurements and what size they're wearing. It's very common to not really show the face. They want the photos to be very focused on the clothes. And then you scroll all the way down and you'll see the detail photos. And if they're really nice, they'll do very close-ups of the materials themselves. And then they'll give you a little more info about what it's made of. And unless it's like a very poorly run website, they will tell you the measurements of the item. Then you'll see a little chart that looks like this. It has all of these words that look really confusing, but again, if you spend a lot of time online shopping and if you get used to it, you will know exactly what they mean. It'll tell you if there is lining on the inside. It'll tell you if it's sheer, how thick it is. It'll tell you how the material feels. Is it soft? Is it scratchy? Or is it kind of in between? How stretchy it is. It's this word called 신축성, like elasticity. That can be a little bit tricky sometimes because sometimes they'll say like no elasticity, but they actually mean like just on the waist. And then it'll tell you how does it fit? Is it like oversized or does it fit true to size? And it'll tell you what season it's usually good for. So most Korean clothing websites are very, very detailed, and you can see all of this on the actual clothing page without ever going to customer service. If you do want to contact customer service, a lot of them will actually connect you to their Kakao channel. So you can literally just send them a Kakao message and you're basically like texting them. If you register your number as an account with them, they'll like send you a little text, which again is like pretty common in other places too, but sometimes they'll even send you like a personal text, like not by a robot, like a person. And you know it's a person because you actually have a conversation with them, like let you know that an item's out of stock or that a certain color is out of stock. So they ask, would you like to get another one? I do think it's because of how small a lot of these brands are and how much personal contact they have with their customers, which to me is like, it's really nice. Honestly, I know that I'm able to like get proper answers from people who have like direct contact with these clothes. Like I know that there are warehouses and manufacturers all throughout Seoul. They're taking these photos in-house. Now, I really do think it's quite interesting how internalized and localized the whole phenomenon of popular fashion trends on social media become in Korea, where like there are all these like internal trends that aren't necessarily influenced just by like Western fashion or like big global fashion retailers like H&M and Zara, which are also popular in Korea. But if you go to these brands in Korea, the styles I think are more adjusted to Korean style. And because exported brands are much more expensive, most people just end up shopping on these apps or on the streets, and the clothes that they'll find there are made by Korean designers. A lot of them do actually say made in Korea. Now, this goes into the question of fast fashion and is there actually sustainable fashion in Korea? I'm not the biggest expert on that topic, but it is very hard to find information about where the clothes are actually made and how they're made. Ethics in fashion and sustainability is honestly just not a huge topic in Korea in general. Like, I don't even know what it is in Korean. If there's no popular term for something in a language, I think that says a lot about the culture. I've never heard anyone talk about sustainability or like ethical fashion in Korean ever. And so it just seems like a question that no one really asks except those very small indie designers who are kind of trying to reach out to like a more global audience. It is very difficult to avoid fast fashion in Korea. Even those clothes that say made in Korea, you can get around a lot of things to put those labels. But I actually do really enjoy shopping from in-house made designs. And how you'll know that they're made in-house is that they'll literally say made. There will be a section that says made. And if you see that in a Korean shopping website, it means those designs are in-house. And so you know that these local designers actually put time and care and effort into designing these items. They are original. It also means that you're not going to find those by any other retailer. And because I appreciate uniqueness and individuality in fashion, I tend to go for these made designs. I actually wanted to show you some pieces that I own from popular Korean designers. The first one actually is this dress that I'm wearing right now. And this dress is absolutely gorgeous. It's a creamy kind of pinkish champagne satin slip dress, and it's got this lace detailing, and the material does feel like really high quality. I saw this dress and I was absolutely in love with it. It was such a vintage feel, and this is from a brand called Lulu Seoul or Lulu Seoul. I would not normally spend this much on a dress that's this kind of thin and airy, but I had always been looking for a satin slip dress like this, and I never seen anything this unique. So I do think it pays off a lot to buy these made brands. And the second brand that I want to mention is called 3 times or City Times. That sounds really funny in Korean. I've never said some of these names out loud until this video, and saying it now feels really funny because a lot of Korean fashion brands, they like to use like English words but in Korean, like Ruru Seoul, City Times. Like, it sounds really awkward in Korean. Anyways, 3 times, I'm just gonna call it in English, have seasonal drops, about like 2 to 3 product launches or drops as they call it. And the most recent one that I got is this top. And I'm wearing it on my Instagram and it's really gorgeous. I just thought the material and the design was really unique. And also what I really love about independent brands is that they'll have their own label on the clothes, which if you buy those wholesaled, I'm just gonna call them wholesaled clothes, the tag that you'll see is actually not the same as the brand that you bought from. Kind of like when they sell multiple brands at Urban Outfitters, except that you know that it's a different brand, like they tell you in the name. Whereas here, they'll just put their own brand name on the tag, like the one that you have to cut off. But on the inside, they'll still have like the wholesale brand. But this clearly is made by 3 times. You will not find this anywhere else. And I absolutely adore this little camisole. Actually, the first thing I ever bought from them was this skirt. And I wanted to show you what the tag looked like. It says 3 times, I promise you. And it has also the tag on the back. It's a corset style skirt with a satin lace-up detailing. I love that you can tie it at the bottom, and I just think that both of those items are so symbolic of my style. So they were definitely more investment pieces. They are high quality pieces and they're unique designs that I could only find from 3 times. Before I finish this video, I do want to end with a quick note on how all of this can affect your mentality in Korea, your shopping habits and patterns, and maybe just the whole cycle of how it both influences and is influenced by the culture here. I do think that being fast-paced is a huge part of Seoul culture, and that goes for not only work, but for fashion and trends. Trends will come and go every season, almost every month. New items will be added constantly. It's really hard to not see these trend cycles as a effective fast fashion, but the fact that it's not really talked about or known in Korea is what can cause even more overconsumption. In connection to the whole Frisia controversy in terms of like knockoffs and designers, there is a big pride in Korea about things that are made in Korea or things that are originated from Korea. Just being Korean itself, there's a huge pride in that. The integrity of original and independent designers are held quite high and also respected. So it does seem a little hypocritical if people are criticizing her for wearing knockoffs, but in contrast to that is the whole luxury culture and just wanting to show off luxury goods and use luxury items as status symbols in Seoul. Like other places, cancel culture in Korea is very heavily dictated by moral corruption because corruption is everywhere in Korea. In politics, in celebrities, in media, people are just so sick of corruption that anytime they see it, they're just like, I'm out. Like, I can't deal with this anymore.
That's it, I'm out of here.
I can understand why. In a way, I think that is their reaction to the whole Frisia controversy. I'm not going to talk a lot about it because I really don't know much. But I do think that it's important to note that the controversy was more so about the fact that she lied about wearing knockoff goods. My theory is that she was kind of caught up by this whole image of the golden spoon or rich girl that her agent wanted to create for her. As I do know a little bit about the entertainment industry in Korea, it's just so heavily dictated by the agencies. If you are the celebrity, there's actually not much you can do about what they want to do with you. And that's not to say that she didn't have any personal intent or will in lying about wearing designer goods. I see it as a lack of judgment, but I don't think I can judge whether she had any ill intent behind it or not. I can't know why she did it. No one will ever know the real reason. We can't know what's in someone's heart. We can just know what they say and what others say and how they act. I do think it's interesting how crazy people go when integrity is compromised, how much, they hate on politicians and celebrities. But to be honest, the average Korean, including myself, and probably all of us, we don't live up to these standards. Like, we are not always perfect, honest people. So I personally don't think I can judge her for what she did, but I wanted to add my thoughts on that. It is a very interesting culture, and it's interesting how it even shapes the shopping and fashion trends and habits in Korea. Thank you again for watching this very long video and enduring with patience my long rants. I hope this was informative. I hope this was interesting. I hope this right. And let me know in the comments below, what are some of the shopping and fashion trends and habits in your country? Does it look similar to Korea? Does online shopping work the same way over there? How does Instagram target you with their ads, and how do you respond to them? Do you have tips for not buying any more clothes? How would you shop if you were in Korea? Or how do you shop now? How important are things like individuality and uniqueness of designs to you? Let me know, and I will see you guys soon. Bye bye.